Kinfolk, it's time we had a real honest conversation about Bill Belichick, North Carolina, and what must happen in year two. Otherwise, all that's coming up after the bumper. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like this video, answer questions, comments below. Blah. Yo, man, I think I'm fired up because it's Bill Belichick's year two, and Bill Belichick's year one went about as well as I and many other people told you it would go. Not great. Not great, guys. Not great at all. Pretty bad, actually. Awful, I would even say. What was most upsetting to me is how many NFL people were crestfallen when Texas Christian beat the hell out of UNC. Now, if you look at UNC and you look at Texas Christian last year, you will see 4-8, 9-4. Almost like Sonny Dykes knows how to coach this thing called college football. And Bill Belichick, while he's coached a lot of football, is new to this. Sonny Dykes true to this, right? Sonny Dykes ain't trying to go coach in the NFL. He know what time it is. He know where his bread is buttered. Meanwhile, Bill Belichick coming over to North Carolina, which really ain't got football tradition like that. Like, North Carolina's had some really great teams, and it's had some outstanding players like Dre Blyde, Julius Peppers, Drake May. Omarion Hampton is a monster. People don't give him enough credit for who he has become, right? You can keep going down the list. I'm sure many of y'all can come up with UNC legends that play football. But what you can't come up with is a national champion. Like, what you can't come up with is a team that's going to threaten Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama. Hell, I'm not inclined to pick 7-win Clemson as a team that UNC could beat. Like, I'm really saying that. Like, I don't see it that way. But what is more frustrating to me is coming out of ACC media days, some of y'all drinking the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Like, Belichick talking about we're a different football team. Yeah, that's how the transfer portal and recruiting works. You're going to be a different football team every year. You don't get to keep guys for 6-7 years. You don't get to keep guys by rearranging the salary cap. It's competitive over here, and you got to rebuild it every single year. And that whole 33rd team, glad y'all throwing that out the window. Michael Lombardi looking some kind of way after year one. You got dudes that was like, hey, I don't want to get me up out of here. Gio Lopez getting to Wake Forest. Imagine leaving UNC to go to Wake Forest to play football. You know what I'm saying? All right. So outside of that, I had said this last year. I'm going to say it this year, man. Deion Sanders did not get a fair shake going to Colorado from most people. I thought he was going to be good. Many people thought he was going to be good. And by the way, they beat that Texas Christian team. Okay. But they weren't good in year one. Year two, he had a Heisman Trophy winner. He had an all Big 12 quarterback. He had a team that won 9 games and finished tied for first place in the Big 12. And if they got to play in the college football playoff, they won that game. They might probably make the they got to play in the Big 12 championship and won that game. They probably make the college football playoff, right? I'm saying I expect the same for Bill Belichick, because one of the things that we do not have a lot of is being able to compare guys that ain't coached college football as head coaches before, coming in from either high school or from the NFL, and seeing how good they are with pedigrees, right? Bill Belichick's pedigree is obviously having won 6 Super Bowls as the head coach of New England Patriots, but I think his most outstanding achievement is his assistant coaching tree, which is remarkable. I mean, start with Nick Saban, go from there, right? A guy that Belichick said, I don't think anybody is smarter about football than Nick Saban. Most of us generally inclined to agree, but that's also the best college football coach who has ever lived. And Nick Saban went to the NFL didn't like it, wasn't that bad, wasn't that great, and said, hey, let me go back to doing what I know how to do, which is what I think you might see from Bill Belichick here if they go 4-8 again, because this team could actually be better than last year's team and still have the same record. Like going over to Ireland to get your butt kicked for a second year in a row against TCU ain't going to be great for you. And I think TCU is raring to go. I think Sonny Dykes absolutely loves being able to kick the whole behind of a dude that gets to come in here talking about Super Bowl rings and what he did with the Patriots. Well, all right, what you do with UNC? That would be my question. Even as a UNC fan, what is this $10 million for? So if you're a Colorado fan and you know that Deion's getting paid $10+ million, at least you get to say we got a Heisman Trophy out of the deal, we got a 9-win team out of the deal, and we're getting everybody to say nice things about us, at least for a little while, right? At UNC, the headlines have not been about your football team. The headlines have been about your man's not being great and his girlfriend sending FOIA requests to the athletic department. In many respects, most of the entertaining stuff about UNC football almost exclusively has to do with Bill Belichick's girlfriend and how she has inserted herself into the program. We're not talking about Bobby Petrino as the offensive coordinator. We're not talking about Steve Belichick doing actually a pretty decent job last year and probably going to do a good job this year. We're not talking about the turnover at quarterback and how they're not going to start anything like Gio Lopez this year, right? They're probably going to end up with Billy Edwards, who wasn't even that healthy to play for Wisconsin, and Wisconsin wasn't any good last year. So much so that people were asking for their head coach to be fired. I'm bringing all this up to say I want to know from you, who is a hardcore college football fan, what it is that you expect from Bill Belichick in year 2, because I don't expect them to be better than they were last year. To be clear, I don't expect them to be worse. I don't expect them to be 1-11, but you ain't paying $10 million for 4-8. You didn't look at a guy with Super Bowl rings and say, we need to bring him in here because we can't go bowling and expect to not go bowling. Like you didn't go over Bubba Cunningham's head to hire him. Now they got to change the bylaws over at UNC so you could be embarrassed. Like if I'm Mac Brown, I'm just mad the whole time. Because while Mac Brown got 70 dropped on his skull by James Madison is a good football team, and everybody knew it. You know what I'm saying? UNC was not a bad football team, and that game was actually like 70-50. But again, you can't get embarrassed, right? I think Mac Brown was actually in a great spot at UNC, and I think UNC was in a great spot with Mac Brown. Upsetting a college football Hall of Famer who produced Drake May, who produced Omarion Hampton, who, when y'all were good in the 90s, gave you some of your best years, to go get Bill Belichick and not have any fun whatsoever and lose? Who's going to get behind that? So I think you do this again, one of two things going to happen. Either y'all going to have to separate or he's going to have to find another place to go, because it is embarrassing to go from Mac Brown to Bill Belichick and still be losing football games, no matter who you are. And I got to tell you, if this was Deion Sanders in year 2 and he went 4-8, so many of y'all would be saying the same damn thing. He got to get up out of here. I can't wait to hear what you got to say. UNC ain't no good in 2026.